Shiva! By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
به نام یزدان پاک. سلام عشقای من، چطورید گوگلیا خانواده عزیزم؟ خوبید؟ یه سلام ویژه عرض میکنم خدمت شما دوستای تازه وارد. خیلی خوش آمدید به چنل خودتون، یعنی کاپتان وحشت. سعید هستم در خدمت همه شما. عرض ادب خدمت خانواده‌های محترم و عزیزتون. اومدیم با یک ویدیوی باحال از اومد. حالا داستان چیه؟ داستان پشت پرده داستان واقعی احضاره. فیلم احضار یکو دیدید، درسته؟ اگر ندیدین بعد این بریم ببینید و بفهمید پشت پرده چی میده. با هم دیگه همراه بشیم ببینیم چی در انتظارمونه و داستان واقعی و پشت پرده احضار که کرده تسخیر شد تا بچهای خودشو بکشه چی بوده. فقط لایک، کامنت و سابسکرایب یادت نره. کامنت انگلیسی هم بذار. عشقیت بریم. بیشتر ما فیلم احضار رو دیدیم که بعدش کابوس‌های زیادی دیدیم، مخصوصاً بعد اینکه فهمیدیم واقعیه. شخصاً وقتی داستان‌های واقعی میشنوم باعث نمیشه مورمور بشم، ولی این یکی فرق داره. این من رو از درون لرزوند. این شیطانه. چیزی که من حس کردم قابل بیان نیست. میتونم چیزی بگم که تمام بدنتون به لرزه در بیاد. حالا میریم سراغ ریشه داستان امشب راجع به بس شیبا شرمن باشه که شیطان روح او را تسخیر کرده بود و باعث این شد که این داستان در سراسر دنیا معروف بشه که حتی در فیلم احضار از آن استفاده شد.
شیبا شرمن در بس شیبا تایر در سال 1812 در رود آیلند به دنیا آمد. اولین ارتباط او با جادوگری ارتباط او با روح مری پاولستی بود که بارها به اتهام جادوگری دستگیر شده بود، تا اینکه سرانجام در 22 سپتامبر 1692 به سرنوشت خود رسید و به همراه 7 جادوگر دیگر به دار آویخته شد. او زمانی که اعدام شد 30 ساله بود. مراسم اعدام او در سلم در ماساچوست اجرا شد. بس شیبا با یک کشاورز پولدار به نام جادسون شرمن در جزیره هیرسویل در رود آیلند ازدواج کردند و صاحب 4 فرزند شدند که 3 فرزند از آنها در زمان کوتاهی مردند. داستان‌های محلی میگن که این 3 بچه هیچ کدام به 4 سالگی نرسیدند. طبق سوابق فقط یک فرزند آنها به نام برده بود که هیچ مدرکی از زنده موندن یا مردنش نیست، ولی در عوض کلی مدرک برای مرگ اون 3 تای دیگه موجوده. پس برده چی؟ محکم ترین مدرکی که وجود داره اینه که بس شیبا مسئول مرگ فرزندان خودش و آنها رو قربانی شیطان کرد. یک روز نوزادی از یک خانواده دیگر به طور مرموزی داخل گهواره خودش جون خود از دست داد. با وجود شواهد کم همه میگن که یه سوزن خیاطی توی سر بچه. عجیبش اینجاست که بس شیبا هیچ وقت اسیر نشده بود، ولی این به آن معنی نیست که مردم فراموش کنند که چه اتفاقی افتاده. او به عنوان یک جادوگر شیطانی شناخته میشه که فرزندان خود رو شیطان میکرد.
شده مصاحبه ضبط شده اون موقع رو با هم دیگه بشنویم. اینجا رو دوبله نکردم به خاطر اینکه دوست دارم حس ترسی که این مصاحبه با آدم میده رو لمس کنید. بریم.
Woman who practiced witchcraft, who had in her earlier years actually murdered her own child by driving a stake or a nail through the head of the child as a gift, again, to Lucifer.
لوسیفر یعنی همون شیطان. اونجا که گفت هدیه به لوسیفر میشه شیطان.
در سال 1971 یک خانواده به املاک آرنولد که قبلش برای یک آقای میانسال به نام داریل کنین بود نقل مکان می‌کنند. این ملک در سال 1618 ساخته شد. این خانه رویایی کرولاین بود که آگهی فروش این خونه رو در روزنامه به قیمت $72,000 می‌بینه و به دلیل قیمت خیلی مناسب تصمیم خریدش می‌گیره. ساعت حدوداً 9 تا 10 شب بود که آنها برای بازدید ملک قرار گذاشتند، در حالی که راجر همسر کرولاین در سفر بود. چون راننده تریلی بود، کرولاین بدون اطلاع راجر بچه‌ها رو نزد یک پرستار گذاشته و به دیدن ملک میره. همان شب شدیداً عاشق ملک شد و بلافاصله قرارداد خرید ملک را امضا کرد و حساب بانکی خودشون رو کاملاً خالی کرد، به حدی که پول کافی فقط برای خود و خوراک داشتند. تمام دارایی آنها شد $500. حالا شما حساب کنید چقدر این خونه روش اثر گذاشت که حاضر به همچین کاری شد. وقتی همه خانواده وارد این خانه شدن، از همان لحظات اول متوجه حضور یک نیروی ناشناخته شدن. مالک قبلی ملک وسایلی از خودش رو در خونه جا گذاشته بود و دخترها وقتی وسایل رو دیدن کنجکاو شدن و از مادرشون در مورد وسایل سوال کردن و مادر گفت که آقای کنین اینجا تنها زندگی می‌کرده.
بچه‌ها الان می‌خوایم یک مصاحبه ببینیم از یکی از دختران راجر و کرولاین. خب این دختر الان بزرگ شده، زمانی که این مصاحبه داره ازش گرفته میشه 50 خورده سالشه و داره خاطرات اون خونه رو تعریف میکنه، از لحظه‌ای که آقای کنین اومده آخرین وسایلی که داره رو از تو کابینت جمع کنه و ببره. اون لحظه شخصی رو این دختر تو خونه میبینه، سلام میکنه، جواب سلام نمیشنوه و میره پیش مادرش و میگه که مامان آقای کنین با کمک اومده. مادر میگه نه تنها اومده. میگه پس اون کیه که اونجا وایساده و این جریان. حالا میخوام از زبون خودش با صدای خودش بشنویم ببینیم چی داره.
And I took a hard right into the dining room where Mr. Kenyon was packing up the last of his belongings out of the china cabinet. And I saw an oddly dressed man standing over in the corner near the door. And I said good morning because I was a well-raised child and very polite. And he ignored me like I was the ghost. So I kept walking and I went into the kitchen and I said, Mom, who's the other man with Mr. Kenyon in the dining room? She said, no, there is no other man. His son's coming to help, but there's nobody else with him. I said, but Christine walks in. She said, Mom, who's the man with Mr. Kenyon? She said, there's no other man with Mr. Kenyon. And then Cindy walks in. She said, Mom, the man. My mother's like, really? And then Nancy walks in and she leans over to Cindy and she said, you know that man in the dining room with Mr. Kenyon? He just disappeared.
خانه به مرور ناحت می‌شدن. سگ‌ها و گربه‌ها انگار گریه می‌کردن که داخل خونه نیان. با اینکه این خونه رویایی کرولاین بود، ولی مدت کوتاهی بعد او به طور عجیبی دچار افسردگی و کاهش وزن شد و به طور ناراحت کننده شروع به پیر شدن کرد. اتفاقای ماورایی شروع به رخ دادن کردند و کل خانواده احساس ضعف کردند. حتی به کرولاین آسیب جسمی می‌رساندند. روح قربانی قبلی که فرزندان خودش رو کشته بود، کرولاین را به عنوان یک تهدید می‌دید. هر چیزی که بود از کرولاین بدش می‌آمد. هر کاری می‌کرد که به کرولاین بفهمونه که اینجا نمونید. مثل تکان خوردن مبل‌ها، باز بسته شدن درها، شنیده شدن صدای پا و این اتفاق هر دفعه شدت بیشتری می‌گیره. ساعت‌های پدر بزرگ رأس ساعت 5:15 صبح از حرکت وای می‌ایستاد. جدا از اون اتفاقها خیلی عجیبی توی نصف شب می‌افتاد. یک بار با اینکه دمای اتاق مناسب بود ولی کرولاین احساس سرما می‌کرد و سعی می‌کرد خودش رو گرم کنه.
بچه‌ها الان می‌خوایم صدای ضبط شده، مصاحبه ضبط شده خود کرولاین رو بشنویم در توصیف این چیزایی که الان شنیدیم در مورد سرما و موجوداتی که بغل تختش بودند و یک موجود شبحوالی رو میدید که دست نداره، پا نداره ولی رو حواس و اینا رو میخواد بگه. خب بریم.
I woke up so cold that I thought I was freezing to death because the heat was on. There was the remnants of a fire in the fireplace. There was no reason, no logical reason for me to be so cold. I touched myself. I felt like marble.
Very, very cold.
Right. I cuddled up next to my husband to try to get his body heat, and I simply couldn't get warm. I turned over, and standing next to my bed was an apparition or an entity or something in an old, dark, gray dress, as much as I could see of it, which was approximately down to the knees and up to the shoulders. There was no head. There was a black sack of some sort hanging off to one side of the shoulder. The dress had a belt. That's how I knew it was a woman. The dress had very distinct tailoring to it.
Would it be something that would resemble a person that had been hung?
It very possibly could. The head was definitely not where it should have been, which would be between the two shoulders, in the middle.
What happened then, Charles?
Well, I was very frightened. I snuck back down, I pushed myself down under the covers and left only my eyes exposed. Now, when this happened, I said, well, I have something that my husband can see. And I began to attempt to wake him up. I shook him, and I kicked him, and I rolled him over. I even at one point sat up in the bed and took his face in my hands and pried his eyes open. And he just continued to sleep like he was dead. Was so frightened at that point, I gave up on him and went back under the covers. And at this point, the entity moved around toward the foot of my bed and began to do this chant. At the same time, her arms were shaking in rhythm above her. There was no hand on the arm, just a black line. I can only remember the first line of what she said. I'll drive you out with fiery brooms, I'll drive you mad with death and gloom.
This would be sort of a witchcraft chant, wouldn't it, Carol?
It was not something she was making up as she went along because it rhymed.
What did this odor smell like, Carol?
Well, it's hard to articulate. There's nothing I can compare it to because I've never smelled anything like it before. The only thing I could say is moldy, dead, rotten meat.
تو را با جاروی آتشین دیوان خواهم کرد. تو را با غم و اندوه و مرگ دیوانه خواهم کرد. این شعار جادوگران است. مدتی نگذشته بود. کرولاین روی کاناپه مشغول خواندن کتاب بود که بازم همان موجود سیاه را دید. کرولاین متوجه حضور اون موجود شده بود چون اول بوی بد به مشام رسید و بعدش اون موجود ظاهر میشد. ولی کرولاین توجهی به اون موجود نمیکرد و به خواندن کتاب ادامه میداد که در همین لحظه اتفاق غیر قابل تصوری رخ داد.
بچه‌ها بخش دیگه ای از صدای ضبط شده رو بریم با هم بشنویم.
She did come to the side of the couch one night. The smell was there. I was wide awake reading poetry. I knew she was in the room because the odor, you can compare it to nothing else. And it's such a distinct odor that I knew immediately she was in the room. And I tried to be very cool, continued reading my poetry. I was laying on my tummy. And I felt something very sharp penetrate the calf of my leg, which was kind of hanging over the couch. And I reached down fast and rubbed it, and I came away with a drop of blood. It was as though she had pierced me with a pin. But she faded immediately. After that, I was saying in my head, in the name of Jesus Christ, go away from me, back where you came from.
بس شیوا توسط اد و لوریان وارد جهانی شد. آنها مقاله‌ای راجع به بس شیوا و کارهای شیطانی او نوشتند. اد و لوریان اعتقاد داشتند ارتباطی بین کرولاین و بس شیوا وجود دارد. در افسانه‌ها گفتند که اون زمین و هر کسی که توش زندگی کنه دچار نفرین بزرگی میشه. اما پس از تحقیقاتی که من انجام دادم، فهمیدم که مردم میگن بس شیوا در املاک آرنولد زندگی میکرده. حتی میگن در عکسی که متعلق به سال 1800 میلادی هستش، بس شیوا در اون پیداست. یعنی یکی از قدیمی‌ترین عکس‌هایی که از اون وجود داره. من فکر میکنم که یا یه جورایی مطمئنم که بس شیوا عروسک خیمه شب بازی شیطان است.
About 2 to 2.5 years prior to us moving to the farm, my father came home with a puppy for us, and she was the most extraordinary dog I had ever seen. I fell madly in love with her instantly. And she was African Basenji. They have pointed ears and curly tails, and they don't bark, they yodel. And my mother swept her up into her arms, and she said, "This is a very special dog, and she needs an equally special name." And she just held her to her bosom, and she looked up and closed her eyes. And when she opened her eyes, she said, "Bathsheba." I had never heard that name in my life.
خب دوستای عزیز، الان میریم توی ویدیو که عمر و همسرش داره میره به قبرستونی که بسشیبا دفن شده و سر مزار بسشیبا. خب و ببینیم چی در انتظارمونه. فقط هدفون یا هنذفری حتما استفاده کنید. توی یه جایی بشینید که حواستون پرت نشه. کل این ویدیو رو منظورمه. خب یه جایی بشینید که حواستون ایمن اونور نره و تمرکزتون تو ویدیو باشه. اگر بتونید فضایی که میشینید تاریک باشه که خیلی فوق العاده عالی میشه. صدای ویدیو رو آخر ببرید که هم حس استرسش بالاتره، هم ریزترین صداها رو میشنوید. پس بریم ببینیم قبر بسشیبا چی.
To see if we could find any more answers. What ended up happening was extremely unexpected. Now, if matters couldn't be any worse, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. It's a full moon. Don't witches love full moons?
I'm gonna need you to stop.
I don't know what it is, but we always come across cats. Ever since we found a stray cat in a furniture store. Hi, baby.
از غذا شبیه که اومدن تو قبرستون ماه کامله.
Oh, she's kind of friendly. Oh, what the hell was that? I don't know, something just dashed from this side to that. It was probably a rabbit. Back in the days, you'd never catch me at a cemetery at nighttime. Probably one of my biggest fears ever. You know how I broke that fear?
Spent the night in it.
I spent the night. So we're looking for a headstone that has been glued together.
From 1885. So
I ain't gonna lie, I've been to many cemeteries at nighttime, and this one
takes the cake.
This one takes the cake for creep factor. I don't know if it's because it's extremely dark out here.
No, it's because of probably
or because of what I know. That could be just legends. I know she was accused, this woman, of some pretty serious things. There's no proof of her actually being a witch, and she wasn't, like in most cases, hung, or like most witches, they would burn them.
It's not giving me the actual coordinates because I don't know why, but it looks like that.
So it had been vandalized?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
این عکس قبل بنشی واسه نکنید.
And or yeah, somebody damaged it and it got like glued back together.
چند بار تا حالا قبر
Oh wow.
این شبیش بوده.
Dude, these are
چند بار تا حالا قبر بنشیوا رو خراب کردن و دوباره سنگ قبرش رو درست کرده بودن. عکسی که دیدین دیگه سنگ قبر شکسته بود، از وسط دوباره با چسب چیزی بس کرده بودن به هم.
Is it just me walking? I feel like I hear whispers.
چه لوکیشن مخوفیه، چقدر خوف داره قبرستونش ببینید.
Now Bathsheba was an alleged witch. You know, there's people out there that
قبرستون همینجوری خوف داره.
Because they say that those things never happen, but it's been documented that she had children under her care, including her own.
وای بالا که جادوگر بدنام هم توش دفن شده باشه.
Her one son, I think it was her last son, and one of those children died from a sewing needle.
خیلی لوکیشن مخوفیه. خودتون رو تو این لوکیشن تصور کنید.
Oh my gosh, look how dark it is. Does this just keep going?
I think it goes to back here and stuff.
It goes over there too?
چی شد؟
I'm telling you.
You're scared too, huh?
What do you think?
یه چیزایی واقعا حس میکنن چون تو قبرستون دیگه، تو اون لوکیشن.
I'm not that scared.
خیلی چیزا قابل توضیح دادن نیست.
I'm pretty scared. I ain't gonna lie. This place is terrifying. This is the end of the cemetery. Well, at least over here. What are the chances? Full moon, 3 o'clock in the morning, or almost 3 o'clock in the morning, visiting an alleged witch's grave that caused a lot of problems. Are you over there? Should take some pictures. Like in the dark. Look, over there. There's some over there too.
No, that's just trees.
Okay, I'm seeing things. What about over there? Is that it right there? So it's got this round top.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant. Oh, feels like sounds like trees are like falling or something. What if it's trying to tell us that she's over here?
Something. What is this one?
Oh, it's in here.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, wow.
پیدا
They took the headstone?
بازم شکسته قبرش.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You can see there's tons of gifts and crystals. So here is the final resting place.
بازم قبرش شکوندن. نفرت دارن از بسیوا دیگه.
What?
What's that?
I don't know.
You said that, and it sounded like something was walking behind me.
I said her name. The only way I was able to find it was seeing her husband's. Both the Shermans lived pretty long lives. I believe Judson had passed away 4 years before Bathsheba.
از روی قبر همسرش فهمیدن که این سنگ قبر بسیوا. چون اینجوری که نمیشه فهمید شکسته دیگه.
It is 3:07 in the morning on a full moon. I'm not gonna say a witch's grave, an alleged witch. She was accused of offering up a baby, her own baby, to the devil himself as a sacrifice.
Okay.
All right, should we go?
Yep.
فرزندانشو قربانی
All right, you're
کرد.
not allowed to follow us home.
خیلیه.
Hey, don't you want to
خیلی
do a
حرفه.
spirit box?
من نمیدونم چه تصوری چه ذهنیتی داشتن چی
Due to the
میدیدن.
nature of the hauntings, the alleged hauntings from what is in that grave, we want to respect it. Maybe not possibly wake it up. Hopefully we didn't just by visiting it right now. But it seems like this is a pretty popular spot. It's kind of sad that the stone was broken. Online, it actually showed that it was vandalized and put back together. I could almost smell death. You want to spend a little bit more time here?
Why do you go putting it on me when you know damn well?
I'm scared too though. Yeah, no, I am pretty scared. I'm not gonna lie. And I've been to a lot of creepy places, but this is one that really scares me. So this small town in Rhode Island, I guess, has seen many hauntings.
Here's something crazy.
Sure.
Okay, so the whole time we've been standing here, okay, before we even walked in, my eyes kept going. Now I want you to see, I want to see if you can see it. Come here. So my eyes kept going to right there. Doesn't it look like a whole black figure standing there? That's why my eyes kept getting drawn to it. Like, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but like look in person. Like, does you see on the side to the left?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like there's like a black figure standing there.
Okay, I see where you're going.
That's why my eyes kept getting drawn to it, right?
Right, and that's where she's at.
That's where the freaking grave's at.
Now the actual conjuring house, I believe, is in this same town. Of course, there's some reports that the people that have lived there for so many years didn't have any hauntings or reported hauntings anymore. Now the hauntings before her name, and that's all I'm gonna say, her name, was brought up, was very friendly. I mean, it started out with just lights flickering on and off, real mild hauntings. This was actually for several years. If you ever come and visit the Harrisville Cemetery, now it's kind of strange that I say Harrisville Cemetery because on the maps, that's the name of the cemetery, but here it says Rhode Island Historical Cemetery, and it says Burrillville, which is the same town the Conjuring House, the real Conjuring House, is located. And I mean, right underneath this sign, it says vandalism punishable by law. So they have had some issues with vandalism. And that's what I was gonna tell you. If you come visit this cemetery, don't vandalize, and certainly do not whip out a Ouija board to conjure up some evil here, because it can happen and you will regret it. Also, I would maybe steer away from using a spirit box here. Something was so evil that there was books, there was movies made after it. I would just let it rest. It does make me wonder, because the house never got a proper exorcism. Was that spirit, that evil spirit that Lorraine Warren came to the conclusion was Bathsheba's demon spirit, is it still around somewhere? Does it live here at the cemetery? I don't know. I don't want to know. Did you catch anything good?
So look, nothing behind you, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Show that picture again.
Nothing behind you, right?
That was me vlogging right now, yep.
What is that on the other picture?
پشتش میگه چیزیه.
Oh my God.
Doesn't that even look like a face?
راست
It's like an
میگه.
outline. Wait.
بچه صورتو دیدین تو عکس؟
Doesn't this look like 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth? Look. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
دقت
Hold on.
کنید.
Let me see. Oh my God.
نگاه کنید چشما صورت.
And it's like a...
اونم بعد
There's
یا
no
اول
tombstone there.
فصل. یا خدا. واضح
Are you sure that's not
صورته.
that?
It's not in this picture.
Oh, there's no tombstone. Oh, you're right. That's where I was standing. What the hell?
واو.
You ready to go?
Yeah. Oh. Hey, you can't follow me. After spending time at Bathsheba's grave, there were a few things that stuck out to me. One, it was terrifying and had an off vibe to it. Two, the graveyard was a Baptist church graveyard. Anyone I've seen buried as a witch were usually buried elsewhere in a different fashion, and most definitely not buried at a church graveyard. But I could be wrong. Three, she was actually hated enough to have her grave destroyed. But why, after all these years? I mean, her headstone had been there for several years before. Why now? Well, in my opinion, the Conjuring movie story painted Bathsheba out to be the cause for all the evil that took place.
Bathsheba! By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
And being that it was based on a true story, of course, there's going to be people that want revenge. Now, was Bathsheba the one to blame for the parents' hauntings? In my opinion, no. Also, there wasn't any definitive proof linking her to witchcraft or any of the alleged crimes she committed, other than the Warrens mentioning her when Carolyn was struck with the needle on her leg. Not even the parents till this day know exactly what was attacking them. But one thing is certain, it was evil. But what about the unexplainable picture that showed a woman at the cemetery? Who was that? Was it an illusion? Could it have been the ghost of Bathsheba? Could she be upset that her name is constantly being brought up for her alleged trespasses that cannot be proven? Was it someone else? We may never know.